Today's video is going to be all about another hot topic in the weight loss, fitness, and wellness industry, and that is cutting carbs. Do you need to reduce or eliminate carbs to lose weight or be the healthiest version of yourself? This is actually a controversial subject, and it's the topic of a lot of conversation in the weight loss world and the health industry. I'm going to share with you my personal perspective from my own journey, as well as some of the perspectives from my clients in their journey. As somebody who has been in this industry for over 2 decades, I have seen firsthand the effects of cutting carbs and how each person's unique bio-individuality comes into play. When we make a decision for our health, oftentimes there can be a lot of noise around that decision. There are other people's opinions, there are professional opinions, but sometimes we ignore our own inner voice. And so this video is going to help you simplify things and help you understand what the best decision is for you based on your lifestyle, your preferences, and your bio-individuality around your health. Me personally, I have gone through an over 25-pound weight loss. I am 50 years old right now, and not only am I at my lowest weight in my entire life, I am strong, I am fit, and I don't deprive myself of anything I want. I am able to eat the foods I want to eat without restriction. This did not happen overnight. This was a journey that I learned how to do, and this channel is really dedicated to helping you do the same thing. I've been a nutritional chef for 25 years, and what that means is I am hired by all different types of people to help them heal their bodies, to help them lose weight, and to help them become the best version of themselves through improving their health. Each of my clients has a different lifestyle, and they all have different diets as well as different health issues. So I understand how truly unique we are and how much these things like our preferences or our health conditions come into play. For many years, my weight was creeping up and up and up. And this was during my late 30s and my early 40s. When it comes to losing weight, the idea of calories in versus calories out is the very basic concept that a lot of people go towards. However, this is more complicated than it seems because not all calories are created equal. And as I mentioned in the beginning, our bio-individuality is so unique that we all have a different puzzle. When I talk about a puzzle, it means what does our day look like when we're eating? I put my meal puzzle together to make sure I'm getting the macros I need, to make sure I'm getting the carbs, the protein, and the fat I need. And that allows me to stay within my calorie deficit, but it also allows me to make sure I'm nourished, I'm satisfied, and I'm able to do all the things I want to do. However, I didn't understand this for many years. I spent many years avoiding carbs, and despite this, my weight kept going up and up. For example, I would not eat rice. I did not want potatoes. I thought that eliminating dairy was the answer. I also thought foods like salmon and avocado would help me lose weight. I was a nutritional chef and I was helping others reach their goals, but it was customized to their preferences. For me personally, I was listening to a lot of the advice that was out there, which did say to eliminate carbs or to cut carbs. And as somebody who had gestational diabetes with both my children and blood sugar issues, I thought this was something that was very important. However, despite all my hard work, despite eliminating carbs, not only was my weight increasing rapidly, but I was constantly hungry. And I was always fatigued. I always felt exhausted, and I was constantly waiting until that next meal. In fact, even up until bedtime, I would be looking in the fridge to see what I could eat. However, when I started implementing macro tracking, I realized that I was supposed to be having a lot more carbs and a lot more protein and a lot less fat than I was actually having for my body type. Now, this was very confusing to me, and it felt wrong at first, even to have a whole portion of rice with lunch or to include fruit in my diet, even though in general, these are actually very healthy foods. I also realized low fat dairy was something that actually increased my protein very easily and kept my fats low. So, as I started to shift my diet to make these changes, my weight started coming down almost effortlessly. I started to have more energy than I had felt in many years. And this was exciting for me because I was allowed to have things that I had not allowed myself to have in a very long time. It felt as though the world was opening up for me in a new way. After working hands on with over 100 clients in the last 2.5 decades, designing their meal plans, tracking their macros, preparing their food, as well as talking to them as a friend and a confidant, I started to understand what was actually going on with our macros and our food. And I can tell you now the truth about carbs that a lot of people in this industry really don't understand, or maybe they don't know how to explain. Here's what happened to me personally. Like a lot of people, I believed carbs were the enemy. As I said, I was eating salmon, avocado, cutting out dairy. I followed clean eating advice and tried to be perfect. But unfortunately, my weight was not responding at all. It kept creeping up, and I was exhausted and hungry all the time. I felt like my appetite was on high constantly. The worst part is that I'm a nutritional chef and I was helping my clients get amazing results and heal their bodies, but I was gaining weight and my blood sugar issues were just getting worse. I felt as though I was in a health crisis and I was actually starting to get really worried. Here's what makes my perspective a little bit different than other nutritional content creators. I am not just giving you advice and hope it works. For 25 years, I have been in my clients' homes, in their kitchens, and speaking with them as friends and confidants. Not only am I shopping for them, preparing their meals, I am watching their real results in real time. Not only what they tell me they're eating, I see what they are actually eating. I see if they have eaten the food that I prepared for them. I see if there are to-go containers in their trash or their refrigerator. And I know the reality of what is actually going on. Some of my clients have been with me for 5, 10, even 15 years. So I am able to see the people who are losing weight and the people who are not getting the results and the differences in what they're doing. Some of my clients have gone from low fat to carnivore. Other clients have stayed plant-based. Other clients have stayed pescatarian. Some of my clients are omnivore. Some of them are omnivore low fat. Honestly, there is no one size fits all. And so this is what I'm going to share with you, is that the debate over low carb is missing a huge part of the information that it needs. Let me share two different examples with you from two different clients so you can see a little bit of my perspective. For example, client A needed to lose about 50 pounds. Initially, we started them on a very low fat, high protein diet. This included a lot of chicken, a lot of vegetables. It included some healthy carbs, and basically what you would consider to be a very clean eating, healthy diet. Unfortunately, my client did not enjoy this at all. They did not like chicken one bit, and I could tell when they were eating the food, they were not happy. They also did not like vegetables. Vegetables felt like torture to them. And so they looked miserable while eating their healthy options. Meanwhile, these were the types of meals that I truly enjoyed and that actually helped me lose a lot of weight. We switched this client to a carnivore diet where they were eating ribeyes, liver, brisket, tomahawks, butter, eggs. They loved it. They were so excited with this diet. They had no problem sticking to it. And they dropped 40 pounds just within a few months. Not only that, their skin was glowing, they had tons of energy, and they were just overall very satisfied. Now, let's talk about client B. Client B was a pescatarian. This particular client had heart issues and had completely eliminated saturated fats, red meat, and went all the way to the other direction. We focused on more of a Mediterranean diet where we had vegetables, whole grains, fish, and they just thrived. Their energy went up. They have put on a lot of muscle and their heart issues completely are reversed. So it's two different approaches. Both of them were successful, but why? Now, if you look at me as well thrown into the mix, I had a third type of diet. I had low fat, moderate carbs, moderate protein, and I included all types of protein. I had red meat, I had fish, I had chicken, and I also include quite a bit of plant-based meals. We are each individually unique. And if you are trying to force your body into someone else's template based on surrounding noise that ignores your preferences and bio individuality, you are going to be in a constant state of struggle. Calories in versus calories out is the most important factor when it comes to weight loss. But we are not robots. We cannot just push a button and expect us to just eat less, move more. It doesn't work that way. If we want to thrive in a calorie deficit, we have to make sure that we are satisfied. And that is going to be different and unique for each one of us. Now, you might be saying, what about your blood sugar issues, Jessica? What about the fact that carbs spike insulin? Now, this is true in some cases for some people, especially if you have a genetic predisposition. But I want to share with you what has been so effective and what you can implement to help avoid any blood sugar issues so you can still have carbs that you enjoy. Science is showing that you can actually get the same results from fasting, even intermittent fasting, as you can from reducing or eliminating carbs. Studies as recent as 2025 are proving this again and again. I just did a whole video on fasting and I will link it in the description. And I did mention that intermittent fasting is not the most effective tool for weight loss. And that is because for weight loss, calories in versus calories out is the most important thing. And it is still very easy to go over your calories while you're intermittent fasting. However, the studies are showing that if you control your macros and include fasting, intermittent fasting, 24-hour fasting, or longer, you will get the same benefits to your blood sugar, your metabolic response, and your insulin response that you would if you cut or reduced carbs. This is great news because this means that if you enjoy carbs like I do, for example, fruit, rice, potatoes, these are all very inexpensive, healthy foods that are easy for us to incorporate in our diet that can aid us in weight loss, and we start to implement forms of fasting, we can start to dial back major health issues and lose weight without depriving ourselves at all. This is why the approach I use with my clients combines the right macro balance with strategic fasting. And it's what I call my puzzle method, because every specific piece has to fit your lifestyle and your preferences. After 25 years of one-on-one working with clients, I'm going to share with you, here's what actually matters. First, yes, calories in versus calories out is the foundation. You cannot outrun thermodynamics. Whether you're eating steak or sweet potatoes or candy or pizza, calories in versus calories out is the basic foundation of weight loss. But it's not all that matters, because as I said, we are not an appliance that we can just program to eat less. We are a human being with temptations, with hormones, with stress, and all of those come into play with our hunger cues. So we need to design our menu and our puzzle in a way that is built for our own specific body and lifestyle. The second thing that I want to share is that the method that you choose has to be aligned with everything that you do and that you enjoy. So if you are a client like my client A and you do not like chicken, you do not like broccoli, and you love fatty meats, then more of a carnivore, low carb diet is going to be better for you, because you are going to be able to stick with it. You are going to be able to employ it in a healthy way. But if you are somebody who loves plant-based food, or you have had heart issues and you want to eliminate saturated fat, then a carnivore diet is probably not the best choice for you. So anytime you hear somebody say there is a one size fits all, I want you to understand that they are not coming from a place of working with a number of clients with unique bio-individuality. There is no one size fits all. There is nothing that works for every single one of us, because consistency and sustainability are key. And that brings me to my third point, and that is the best diet for you is the one that you can stick with. It's the one that you can stay with long term, that works with your lifestyle. This is why our unique preferences are so important for us. And it's very important for us to consider this when we design a strategy. And when I work with clients, I have them fill out a 5-page assessment that talks about what they enjoy, what they like, what they are used to having. Because to go from one type of diet or strategy and jump into a whole new strategy is usually setting yourself up for frustration and failure. I have a unique ability to create a customized, tailored strategy that is perfectly aligned with your lifestyle. So if this is something you need support with, I highly suggest let's chat. This is also why I developed my puzzle method. Instead of forcing you into a generic meal plan or generic template, we build a customized plan that works for your life. It is your custom puzzle. So if you're tired of fighting your own preferences and your own mind, and you want to build a sustainable approach that actually fits your life, I can help you create your own nutrition puzzle. Whether you prefer plant-based, pescatarian, omnivore, low-fat, or carnivore, or somewhere in between, the principles remain the same. Match your biology with your preferences while maintaining the right caloric balance. I've linked my 72-hour fasting experience below, so you can watch that video and you can see exactly how I approach fasting in a gentle, gradual way to help you implement it effectively. But remember, there is no magic answer for avoiding carbs or eliminating carbs. The magic is in finding what works for your body and your life. If this resonates with you and you want some personal guidance in creating your own strategy and helping you finally lose the weight in a way that is filled with alignment, intention, and ease, drop a comment or click the link below to set up a call with me. I will be starting a 90-day challenge very soon that implements all of this and helps you personally find your own nutrition strategy that works for you. And I would love to know, what is your biggest nutrition struggle, or what is your biggest weight loss struggle? If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share with me what you want to hear about next. I'm Jessica Leibovich of Eat, Breathe, Move, Glow. And until the next video, stay glowing.